the barren woman. The title, Kudzi, the barren woman, had evolved as a means to differentiate her from other women in the village who shared the name Kudzi. Kudzi had been married for several years to Tanashi, a sturdy man known for his prowess in farming. Despite their love for each other and their efforts to fill their home with laughter and warmth, the absence of children cast a shadow over their happiness. The village, bound by age-old beliefs, measured a woman's worth by her ability to bring forth life. In this tight-knit community, where traditions ran as deep as the roots of ancient baobab trees, fertility was celebrated with exuberant dances and communal feasts. The laughter of children echoed through the village, a testament to its prosperity and the blessings bestowed upon it by the ancestors. Women who bore many children were revered, their homes seen as havens of abundance. Yet, for Kudzi, the expectation to conceive became a heavy burden. Elders whispered behind her back, and other women exchanged knowing glances when she passed by. The rhythmic beats of the village drum seemed to taunt her with every barren echo. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an orange glow over the thatched roofs, the village gathered for a fertility ritual requested for Kudzi by her in-laws. Kudzi found herself once again at the center of a haunting ritual. The villagers formed a tight circle around her, humming an ancient melody that reverberated through the very core of her being. This was not her first time in this disconcerting spotlight, but the beating of the drum, relentless and primal, seemed more ominous this night. Out of the corner of her eyes, she caught glimpses of her husband and his parents. Their faces, shrouded in the flickering light of torches, betrayed no emotion she could decipher. Were their eyes filled with anger, disappointment, or a concoction of both? The uncertainty gnawed at her like a relentless predator. As the drum's tempo intensified, Kudzi's heart quickened in response. She was abruptly jolted from her introspection by a sharp crack against her back, a whip slicing through the air. The pain, though familiar, still sent shivers down her spine. It was the dreaded moment, the part of the ceremony that invoked a visceral fear, the whipping of the Baroness demon, as the village believed. Kudzi gritted her teeth, clenching her fists in silent pain. The crowd's humming intensified, a symphony of collective energy charging the atmosphere. Her closed eyes couldn't shield her from the tears that cascaded down her cheeks. The salted droplets merged with the dust kicked up by the rhythmic dance of the villagers. The pain was physical, but the emotional wounds ran deeper, etching scars on the canvas of her soul. As the last lash fell, Kudzi, battered and bruised, found herself standing on the precipice between despair and defiance. The villagers, their faces painted with a mix of solemnity and fervor, awaited a sign that the Baroness demon had been vanquished. However, no such signal would manifest that night. One by one, the villagers departed, leaving Kudzi kneeling beneath the moon. Chapter 2, Hope. Despite the passage of a year since the ritual, its haunting echoes made it feel like a recurring nightmare for Kudzi. The persistent drumbeat, a relentless reminder of her perceived inadequacies, played on a loop in her mind. Kudzi, Kudzi, a whisper broke through the haze of her thoughts. It was the shake of her shoulder that yanked her out of the nightmare, and there stood Ruva, a delightful face she had dearly missed. In the warmth of their embrace, Kudzi's eyes couldn't help but catch the delightful surprise. Ruva's belly cradling the promise of new life. "You're pregnant," Kudzi exclaimed, a blend of excitement and shock coloring her words. Ruva giggled at her friend's infectious enthusiasm and confessed, "I had some help." Her face took on a serious tone that heightened Kudzi's intrigue. "I needed all the help I could get," Ruva continued, and the two women settled down for a conversation. Leaning in, Ruva shared the intriguing details of her secret weapon, a man named Baba. "His name is Baba, and he's worked wonders on hundreds of women like us," Ruva explained with a mysterious glint in her eyes. Kudzi leaned in, curiosity piqued. "So, is this some kind of spiritual ritual thing?" she asked, half expecting tales of 1,000 lashes or mystical chants. Ruva burst into laughter. "Not at all," she exclaimed, struggling to find the right words. "It's more like, well, you get a one-on-one session with Baba at his place of worship. He dives into your family history, bombards you with questions, and then hands you a concoction to drink. From that moment, I couldn't tell you what happens. Next thing I know, I wake up in the waiting area with no recollection whatsoever." As Kudzi processed this revelation, her eyes widened with both skepticism and fascination. "And look at me now," Ruva said, pointing to her burgeoning belly. "You can't argue with the results." Amid the laughter and incredulity, Ruva added, "I've had 10 sessions with Baba." Kudzi, intrigued, asked, "Do you pay him?" To her surprise, Ruva replied, "No, he only receives payment after the healing is complete." Delighted, Kudzi felt a knot in her stomach that she chose to ignore. This could be the answer to her prayers. "When can I meet him?" Kudzi asked, a spark of hope illuminating her eyes. Chapter 3: The Enigmatic Baba. Ruva and Kudzi found themselves seated on the ground along with the other women, awaiting the arrival of the enigmatic Baba. As the anticipation hung in the air, Baba emerged, dressed in a flowing white gown that accentuated his imposing presence. Kudzi couldn't help but be struck by his height, an impressive stature that seemed to reach the heavens. Baba, she noted, looked to be in his late 20s or early 30s at most. Baba's aura exuded a magnetic charm that captivated every woman present, creating a palpable excitement that hummed through the gathering. Kudzi couldn't stifle a laugh at the slightly cult-like atmosphere, much to the displeasure of Ruva, who promptly elbowed her.
Ouch!
Throughout the service, Kudzi's curiosity about this charismatic man intensified. She observed the handsome and tall children in attendance, noting a striking resemblance to Baba. The thought crossed her mind to point out this peculiar detail to Ruva, but the memory of the last elbow's lingering pain deterred her. After the sermon, Ruva took the opportunity to introduce Kudzi to Baba. "Baba, this is Kudzi, my friend. The one I spoke to you about," Ruva said, bowing to show respect. "My child," Baba responded with a warm smile, "you are welcome." Ruva followed suit, bowing respectfully, mirroring the actions of others. As Baba's gaze met Kudzi's, an odd sensation enveloped her, an illusion that everyone else in the world had vanished. She had never encountered anyone who could make the world disappear with a mere glance. Breaking the trance, Baba uttered, "Friday," and with a smile, he left the two women standing there. "Friday." Kudzi repeated in confusion. Ruva, nearly collapsing with laughter, managed to gasp, "It's like you've never seen a man before." Unable to contain herself, Kudzi joined in the laughter. Ruva's infectious mirth echoed through the trees, mingling with the intensity of the moment. As they left the gathering, the air buzzed with anticipation, and Kudzi couldn't help but wonder how this enigmatic Baba would unravel the mysteries that clung to her, and the promise of healing that Friday held. Chapter 4: The Healing. The room was bathed in the warm hues of the setting sun as Kudzi sat face to face with Baba. The choice of a sunset meeting struck her as peculiar. Why so late in the day? A small bed occupied one corner of the room, and the flickering glow of candles added an ethereal touch to the atmosphere. Interrupting her thoughts, Baba's voice cut through the quiet. "How long have you been married?" he inquired, his eyes penetrating. 7 years, Kudzi managed to mumble. Baba nodded, asserting confidently that she was in the right place for the long-deserved healing she sought. "Take off your shoes and lie on the bed so I can examine your condition," Baba directed. Kudzi obeyed promptly, surprising even herself with the swiftness of her compliance. As Baba's hands traced her belly, he nodded and grunted, seemingly deciphering the intricacies of her condition. Amidst the examination, a thought crossed Kudzi's mind. How would she explain this to her husband if he were to see her in these circumstances? A suppressed giggle escaped her lips at the absurdity of the situation. Baba, his gaze piercing, questioned her laughter. "Are you always laughing?" he asked, seriousness etched on his face. "I'm ticklish," Kudzi replied sheepishly. The atmosphere shifted as Baba handed her a cup filled with a tea-like substance. She hesitated to ask what it contained, sensing Baba's annoyance. Quickly downing the cup, Kudzi could see a sly grin spread across Baba's face. A sudden unease gripped Kudzi as she realized she was alone in a room with a man she hardly knew, who had given her a mysterious concoction. Determined to bring this to an end, Kudzi attempted to stand and thank Baba for his help. However, her voice became heavy, and her words slurred. Panic set in as she tried to move, but her body felt unnaturally heavy, immovable. "Shh," Baba soothed, "do not fight it. Just go to sleep, my little beautiful Kudzi. Let Baba take care of you." A solitary tear traced its path down Kudzi's cheek as she comprehended the impending danger. Her vision blurred, and then darkness consumed her. As Kudzi slipped into the abyss of unconsciousness, the contours of her known life faded away, signaling the dawn of a profound and irreversible change. Thank you for watching our story, The Barren Woman, and we hope you enjoyed it. What lessons did you draw from this story? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and be part of the tribe. Thank you for watching The Tales of the Savannah. We will see you next time, in the Savannah.